So we've got some published assessment criteria that all proposals are assessed against, and we're looking there at things like their feasibility. The science has got to stack up. We're looking at things like whether it's meeting an actual defence capability need, or is it something we don't need. Clearly we prefer to invest in things we do need. But importantly, one of the criteria that we assess proposals around is the extent to which they will contribute to building Australia's defence industry and innovation sector, building the capability of the sector. Because that's one of the policy objectives of this program. So we're trying to enhance defence capability, but we're also trying to grow the capability of Australia's defence industry and innovation sector. So we have a look at that too. All of that's put into the mix, and we then get an assessed proposal that's got scores and risks identified and all the sort of things you would expect us to do. The proposals then come into an investment advisory group, and that's a group that I chair together with my colleagues from across the capability managers, so the services, the Defence Science and Technology Group, CASG, the people who acquire military equipment, and some other stakeholders, and we have a look at a proposal through an investment lens. So you can think of this in terms of the same way that you might manage a financial investment portfolio. We have some internal investment parameters that we consider. How much of our funds do we want to invest in this particular area versus that particular area? How much of our funds would we like to invest in early stage concept explorations versus more advanced prototyping, etc. This is guidance, it's not hard and fast, but we've got a strategy and a strategic approach to our investment, and we're having a look at proposals through that lens as well. So all of these things go into the mix, and there's one other thing which is incredibly important, and the Defence Innovation Hub puts quite a focus on, and it's something we call pathway to acquisition. So what we're looking at there is that for any particular proposal, what would be its pathway into acquisition and delivering an actual defence capability. Now this is a case of horses for courses. So if the proposal is an early stage concept exploration, the pathway to acquisition merely needs to be conceivable. It doesn't need to be any more defined than that, but we at least need to conceive that this could one day deliver defence capability, or we shouldn't be doing it. But by the time you get to a much more advanced proposal, something up at a high technological readiness level, maybe around 7, and perhaps something that we would call a phase 4 integrated test and evaluation. That pathway to acquisition has to be very clear. There has to be a project that's going to be able to pick this thing up, a funding line, it has to be temporally aligned, because if those things aren't there, then we have to ask ourselves, what are we investing in the development of this for? Because it's, we'll just get a product at the end that there was never actually any ability to acquire it. Sometimes we might find that there isn't a pathway to acquisition, but it's such a great opportunity for new capability that we need to create a pathway to acquisition. And we can do that too. So that's why we have all of the relevant parties in the room, the capability manager, as well as the CASG representatives, so that we can work on that pathway to acquisition. This is a good thing for the taxpayer. It means we're not investing in things that have no prospect of entering defence capability. And it's a good thing for industry too, because if you get a contract with the Defence Innovation Hub, and we don't do grants, they're all contracts, what that means is that Defence has had a look at this and assessed not only that it's interested, but that it may potentially enter defence capability one day. The further up that development pathway you are, the more clear our assessment has been around that. At the lower end of low technological readiness level, we've got a really high risk appetite. And what I mean by that is that we've got a high appetite for failure. So if we contract you to deliver a particular technology and it doesn't work out, that's okay. It's a best endeavours approach, and that's what's in the contract as well. By the time you get up to the more advanced technologies where the costs are greater and there's more complexities involved in integrating a particular technology with a defence system, our risk appetite starts to taper off and get closer and closer to where it might sit for an acquisition. So it's about tailoring our risk appetite appropriately to support and encourage innovation. The next big thing that we're about to do and about to launch, which I'm really excited about, is a new service offering called Special Notices. So when the hub opened, we opened with what could be called an industry push model. So the idea is that industry or research organisations push their ideas into defence, into the hub, and we have a look at them. We tell them what our broad priorities are for investment at a really broad level, but it's an industry push model. What we're about to launch with special notices is a defence pull model. So this is where a capability manager in defence or a big defence project comes to the hub and says, hey, we've got a capability problem or a challenge and we need some innovative ideas to help solve it. So we craft a problem statement or a challenge statement and we advertise that and seek innovative solutions to this problem from industry and research organisations. So this is a defence pull model. It's a targeted solicitation. We ran 3 pilots of this last year to kind of make sure we could do it properly, and we're about to turn it on and go live. I'm really excited about it because I think over time it will become most of what we do. It's good for industry and research organisations because they know if they're participating in a special notice, they're going after a problem we actually have, rather than guessing or being told by someone that they talk to in uniform that there's a problem. They'll actually know because we're seeking solutions for it. The other really exciting thing about special notices is that hard baked into the model for special notices, or SPECIs as my team calls them, is a facilitation of collaboration between industry players and research organisations. So it's a 2-stage process. We craft the problem statement, we seek proposals. We do a down select and invite a short list of entities to an industry day. And the purpose of that industry day is to get everyone in a room and they can meet the warfighters or the people who actually have that capability challenge and hear from them exactly what it is and understand it at a deeper level. But the other really cool part about the industry day is that it's an opportunity for these serendipitous meetings that happen between the people who come. So over a cup of tea and a bicky at morning tea, for example, this university representative is talking to this prime or this SME and saying, well, we were thinking about attacking it this way. And they say, well, we were thinking about attacking it this way. And then they realise that these things are complementary and if brought together would be an even better way of solving it. And that's exactly what happened last year when we ran these pilots, is that in quite a few cases, the second stage of the process, which is a detailed proposal, in many cases the detailed proposals were partnered or teamed arrangements where 2 or more entities had gotten together to put in a sort of collaborative proposal. And at the end of it, we can then get in contract with 1 or several entities, whatever is required, to develop that technology. So it's quite exciting. As I said, I think it's good for defence because we're really targeting our dollars on problems we've actually got. And it's good for industry and research organisations to be putting their efforts into problems they know we have. In time, so we'll offer this to defence first. It's a user pays model, which means that the capability managers or the projects will bring their funding to the hub to say, can you help us solve this problem? And then we'll run it for them. In time, we're going to make this service available to other national security agencies. So we're talking about departments like the Department of Home Affairs, for example, or other national security agencies that will have their own capability challenges that they might be seeking innovative solutions to. They may have funding to do it, but they don't have the kind of established innovation program like the Hub to service those needs. So we look forward to opening it up to them in time as well. And servicing the entire national security community.